Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Jodi. Today's video is a tutorial, a how-to to get this fresh summer look, all from drugstore for mature skin. I will give you a warning, this is a longer video than I typically do, but it is a in-depth how-to tutorial to get this overall fun summer look. So if you're interested, stick around and we will get started. Also, you'll have an opportunity, so please take a moment to subscribe to this channel if you like it, and you will be notified every time I post a new video, which will be Mondays and Thursdays. Also, if you like this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up so that I know this is the type of content that you enjoy, and also leave me some comments so I have a chance to interact with all of you. I love that. You guys are the community that I love to serve, so I hope this is a video that you find helpful. So without further ado, let's get started. Is start with these clips. Obviously, let's get some of this hair out of the way. If you guys have the same kind of issue that I do, I just need a lot more working space than I typically have. So I just like to get my hair out of the way so that we can get started and really see everything that we're working on. So I'm excited about this video because we are going to take our look hopefully back 10 years. Maybe some of you have a reunion coming up, a high school reunion, a college reunion. Those are always fun, but we certainly want to look our best. So the first thing that I will always start with is my sunscreen. This is 50 SPF, and this is by La Roche-Posay, and I'll put a little bottle down in the description bottle so that you can see. I always start with a couple pumps of this. It's pretty good consistency. It's not real thin as it runs off my hand. It's not very thin. There's no flashback with this, has ever been my experience. So I like to put it everywhere so that we can protect our skin from additional sun damage. Gosh, wasn't laying out in the sun in the 80s and 90s like the thing to do? That's one of the things I always say. If I could tell my younger self something, there'd be a lot of somethings, but one of the things for sure I would tell is stay out of the sun, or at least use sunscreen. So in order to achieve this roll back the clock, the calendar, and the years look, I'm going to start with the Covergirl Plus Olay Simply Ageless. Now this has 11 shades in it, so not a great shade range, and it's an SPF of 28, and I am using the color 220, which is Creamy Natural. So okay. Ooh, that was a little harder than it was supposed to be. All right, there'll be outtakes at the back. So this is what it looks like. It has a little bit of a swirl between the foundation and the oil of Olay. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I like to do my foundation with a more of a stiff kabuki brush. So you can see this is sort of flat but very dense in the bristles. This is an IT Cosmetics, which you'll find I typically reach for IT Cosmetic brushes. This is their kabuki brush, Airbrush 110. And I'll just go right in with the kabuki brush, swirl it around, get some good color deposit on there, and then I will just sort of stipple around my main areas. I should probably put this back in something else. That's okay. And when I do my foundation, I'll hold the brush somewhere in between. You'll notice that the more color deposit you'll want to hold closer to the tip of the brush. You have a little bit better control. If I'm doing eyeshadow or blushes and things where I want a little lighter hand, then I'll go way back at the end and then I'll tap it. So with the foundation, I really want to be able to control it, but also push it in to the pores and fine lines. So I'll hold a little bit closer here, and then I'll just literally push in and twirl. Now, I think this is a pretty good color for me. I don't tan my face ever, even with a self tanner I don't. I'll tan up to my neck and then try to blend my face with my neck. But I don't put tanner on my face. One of the reasons is because it can be somewhat drying, and also once you have it on, it really throws off your foundation color, and I don't like to have to go buy multiple colors of foundation just to have a tan face. I mean, if I really want to have more of a tan face, I can use some bronzer, or I can, in the summertime, sometimes I will go up a shade or two darker with my foundation just so that I can match my neck with the foundation. So this tutorial is all about sort of a facelift, a drugstore facelift. So you'll see some of the techniques that we're going to apply today really do focus on lifting from an eye perspective. Like, where does the eye look? And I think that you can use a lot of these techniques and really where you're positioning the foundation or the blush or the bronzer or the contour. The position on the face will lift no matter what product you use, as long as it's the right shade and the right placement of the product. So I hope you guys are as excited about summer as I am. It was so nice to be out and see people smiling, right? And to be able to smile back at people. Gosh, I think that's one of the things that I missed the most. Now, typically when I'm doing my foundation, I'll start sort of in the middle of my face and work my way out and just keep blending, blending, blending. Because I think a bad foundation blended job is sort of the foundation for a bad makeup day. And it's been my experience. So that looks pretty good. It's probably a little lighter than mine. I would have preferred, I probably could have gotten that a little darker, but I'm going to bronze it up a little bit, so it's gonna be fine. All right, so also pay really close attention to the insides, the corners of your eyes. As we age, I have noticed that I get a little bit more purpley in that area, but a little bit of foundation and some concealer and then some eyeshadow, real light-handed, will absolutely clean some of that purple up and that discoloration. If you find that you're really dark under that area, there's definitely some color corrections that you can use to correct that color. I try not to go that route only because I just feel like it's another product and it just gets a little bit cakey. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. The next thing that I will do, and this is a critically important step that I don't think we talk about enough, I get any type of a pad. This is the Face Halo, and I picked this up at Ulta. And it's just a cotton material, and it's just like the old school powder, loose powder puffs that you used to probably saw your parents, your mom or your grandparents use. I like to just take that over my foundation after I'm done with it, because I feel like it gets off some of the excess oil from whether it's a combination of my face or some of just the liquid product that's in the foundation. And it doesn't give a drying or a matte look. It just helps it stay longer throughout the day. So I'll always do that and just kind of press in everywhere. There's nothing on it. It's just a freshly clean pad. All right. So the next thing that I like to do from there is go in with a bronzer to sort of give it some color and some contour. Now I'm using this Maybelline Master Contour. This has been around for a long time and the reviews on it are really mixed. I like it. I did a tutorial a couple weeks ago and wore it throughout the whole day and it was fine. The color payoff is fine. It's certainly not as creamy to work with or as flawless with the color. It does get a little bit blotchy on the application, but if you blend it out, I saw no problem with it. The one issue I do have with it is it comes in sort of two palettes. One is light to medium and one is medium to dark. The medium to dark is really, it's a dark bronzer. It's almost more of a dark gray color, and I'm not really sure. It's pretty limited, I think, on the color of skin and skin tone that you could use that on. The light to medium is more of a universal type color for lighter skin. That medium to dark, I don't know if I would try that one. So I'm gonna go in with another IT Cosmetics brush. This is their airbrush, I believe it's 130. It just has two different ends on it. I typically like to use this smaller end. I'll go into this contour. And we're not gonna contour as much as we're gonna sort of lighten all that up. So I will go in and just go up through here because I have a bit of a receding hairline. I can't believe I'm admitting that on the internet for everyone to see from now on, but that's okay. That's what this channel is all about, is making the best version of ourselves at any age. So I like to go in right in through there because it just helps the eye. It gets darker towards the back so it doesn't look quite as light coming through my bangs. And then I will just continue and go a little bit in my bronzer. Now, I contour and bronze sort of in the same step, and I will go right around the pupil of my eye or the center of my eye out, and then on my cheekbones is where I like to put my contour because I have pretty pronounced cheekbones. Thanks, Dad. I got his knees, but I also got his cheekbones, so I'm happy with that. And then I'll just go right along your jawline, and this sort of helps cut the jawline. Now, you don't want to go on this side of the jaw, you want to go underneath the side of the jaw. So if this was this side, sort of an angle, you kind of want to start at the bottom of the curve and then go this way with it. So underneath your face, so that if you turn to the side, you really don't see the shading. It's more underneath here because that's where you want it to be a little bit more dark. And then you'll go do the same thing on this side. And then again, not really on the side of the face as much as the bottom underneath here. Real straight lines through here. And you'll notice I want really good control. So I'm holding the brush much more here where I have more color deposit and more control of the brush. And then my chin sort of comes a little bit more, I think it's a little more pointy. So I like to just go across this way to have it be a little bit more of a chiseled chin. And then I just want a little more cut through there. So I'm gonna put a little bit more bronzer on through there. Okay, and then from there, what I would do is just take a blush brush, and again, It Cosmetics. This is the Heavenly Luxe number 7. It also has a dual, almost all the brushes that I buy have a dual head on them. So that just for me, it just makes more sense because then you have multiple uses for it. So we're gonna go back into this palette and we're gonna go into the blush area. And for blush, I will always start, again, back to that pupil of my eye, and I never bring my blush more forward on my face than where sort of that highlight of my eyebrow is and my pupils if I'm looking straight on, and then go out. And right above the cheekbone is where I would start. So my color payout would probably be like right about there. Now, one of the things I will say is some school of thought is that you sort of smile and put your blush on where your smiling is, because that's sort of the rosy cheek look. I have found that looks a little funny on me only because I don't walk around like that all the time. I'd like to think I smile a lot, but I don't walk around with those muscles lifted. So if I put my blush on doing that, then when I drop my face and don't have those muscles engaged, then it sort of sags and that pulls it down, which is absolutely not what I'm looking for. So I like to just put the blush right again in that middle spot on my cheekbone and then go up with it. Now, if you don't have pronounced cheekbones, you can create them just like we do the crease in our eye. You can create that sort of look with a cheekbone, just kind of figure out where you want it to be by sucking in your cheeks and then just going a little bit above that and create it with a blush on the top, and then below it you can put the bronzer. So then when I'm done with the cheeks, I kind of just go a little bit on the forehead just to make everything a little bit rosy, and then just down like that. Okay, I think we're getting there. Our facelift is coming along. All right, so the next thing that I will do is get a eyebrow pencil. Now, school of thought, I like to do my eyebrows before I do anything else on my eyes, only because it just feels like it's the frame to your face. And so if my frame isn't good, it's hard for me to work within the frame. So I do my eyebrows first. Now, a couple of things to think about with eyebrows, especially as we age. They definitely thin, and we don't want to have big bushy eyebrows like we're 18 or 19 again. At least for me, that just looks really misplaced. So I just sort of tweak what I have versus try to recreate what I used to have. So I am using the Brow Ultra Slim by Maybelline, and this is in a brown, this is in coffee color. And what I'll always do is just pull up your pencil so you have enough product coming out. And then I'll just line up the side of my nose and go right below my eyebrow and just make a line so you can see where my tracing needs to start. Same on this side, and I'll just go up. Now you can see that I've got 2 marks on my eyebrows, and so that's where I want my eyebrows to start. Again, when I buy an eyebrow pencil, I usually buy one that has the brush on the end. Again, I'm very dual purpose, I'm realizing. I don't think I realized that as much before. So with eyebrows now, the trend used to be more of an arch. And the arch would always start, again, back to that pupil of your eye, so everything's very symmetric. Right now, the trend, and I think it's a trend that's gonna stay for a little while, throughout the summer for sure, and probably well into the winter and beginning of 2022, is to take your eyebrow pencil and pull down the bit of the arch. So it's almost, instead of being quite like this, it's a little bit more like that. And what that does is, instead of just giving sort of that harsh angle, you're just softening the arch a little bit. And then as you come down to the tail of your eyebrow, I like to just kick it out a little bit instead of it coming such a sharp down to pull the eye down. I'll have it go out a little bit more like this. Now, I did have my brows micro needled back in 2018. And I would do it again, I think, but maybe just a lighter color so that I could change the look of my eyebrow as the trends change. And if I find something that makes my eyebrows look a little bit younger. So again, on the arch down, just kind of kick it out a little bit so that it's a little bit more like straight across. And then on the top, I'll do the same thing. Just fill in that brow area where you put your line. And then just little tiny strokes, just like little hair strokes across that. And again, I do try to pull down that arch a little bit. And if you had not heard the saying that eyebrows are sisters, they're not twins. Now there are days that mine definitely don't even look like distant cousins, but I work to fix it. So you can see just there the difference in the eyebrow, and then I just use my finger and kind of do a soft line around it so it's not real hard lines. And you can sort of see the difference in the eyebrows and just how that looks a little bit more youthful and not quite so aged. Get a good word to use. All right, so then same thing here is a little bit more of the down arch so that it's a little bit more of a straight across, then up and down, and then kick out this bit on the brow so that your brow is simple across your nose, the corner of your eye, and that's where your eyebrow will stop. So you can just do all that right with the pencil that you have. So point, 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 and where do you want to stop your eyebrow? And then you just kind of kick it out. Now you'll see again the micro needling or microblading that I had. It comes down, so I always conceal that, and then I put my eyebrow where I want it to be now. So that's one of the reasons I don't know that I would do the microblading again. But boy, it is nice when you're on vacation somewhere and you come out of the pool and you have a little bit more brow than you normally would. That's the one area that has me thinking about doing it again. What do you guys think? Do you have micro needling? Would you do it again? What are your microblading? Microblading is the brows. Micro needling is where you put the little tiny surface puncture wounds in your face, and it makes the collagen regenerate itself. And that I've done that as well, and it works pretty well. It's a little painful. I've only done it once. All right, so that is the eyebrow look. Now the next thing I'll do is take the concealer. This is the Infallible Full Wear Concealer. This is from L'Oreal. This comes in 25 shades and retails for about $13, $14. It's available on Amazon. Here I'll just go back to sort of lighten up this area under my eyes. And then if you're having a little bit of indentions here in your temple area, which happens as we age and lose collagen, I will take that and go up with it so that the light sort of carries it up. I'll also go down just below my cheekbone and go up with the light. So again, I'm giving the appearance that my skin is going upwards. Then from here, I will take usually a beauty blender if I don't use my fingers. A tip with your concealer or your concealer is leave it on for a little while, a few seconds, maybe up to a minute or so, and let it get a little bit tacky. And then I will press it in with my fingertips. I find that if I do my fingertips, the warmth of my finger warms up the product a little bit once it's tacky, and it seems to go in place a little thicker, but doesn't look thick and cakey once it's on. So I will do that just to brighten up underneath my eye, get rid of any other purpley colors or hues that are coming through from either a long night the night before, or just some inheritant color that comes from perhaps age. And then I'll just do the same thing with anything that I have left on my fingers and highlight right underneath my jawline. And then I'll put anything extra on my nose. So you'll notice I'm not layering and layering and layering a bunch of colors, because I think as we age, that just it's just not a good look. So if you're like me, you might have spent time looking at tutorials on YouTube, and there's some fantastic ones, but boy, when I was done with them, if they were somebody that was younger and the way they did the concealer and the contour and then the highlighter and then the bronze, it was just, it was okay on camera with a filter if you were going to use one, but out in the light, you just looked a bit crazy. Definitely a lot older. So from there, I will take a critical step, which is the eyelash curler. I do this every day, whether I'm trying to do a facelift or not. And then I'll start down at the roots and do a little squeeze, and then I'll squeeze a little bit as I come out so that it sort of gives that out look instead of that kink hard look. So I just sort of do as I go out. I could have entered sound effects there. That would have been probably much more effective than hearing me go do. Somewhere in this process, I'll also take some sort of a lip moisturizer and put it on my lips so that as I get to that step, my lips are already moisturized. All right, so now what we're gonna do is go back to this palette that we had earlier, and I'm gonna just use it for the majority of my eye colors. And I'm gonna start with the e.l.f. eye crease brush. Now, the e.l.f. brushes are also very good, and they're drugstore brushes. And this one was, I think, less than $4. And I don't get a ton of fallout from the bristles. If you've had that experience where you're doing your makeup and then you look and all of a sudden you have pieces of the bristle on your face, that's so frustrating. So here I'm just gonna take this crease brush, a little bit more rounded on the top, pretty condensed bristles. And I'm gonna go back to our contour in this same palette, get some of the color off. Now here I'm going to hold the brush, you'll notice, more towards the end because I don't want a ton of color deposit until I know that I'm going to really like this color. Now you may be asking, why are you using bronzer as your eyeshadow? I like to do that because I just feel like it blends everything together unless I'm having a very bold eye look where I'm going to be out and about somewhere. Otherwise, I just like it to have more of a natural look, and if it's all the same tone, versus warm tones in some areas of my face and cool tones in some, I know that from a consistent perspective, in this case, I have warm tones throughout my face. Now I'll just go in the crease. I start on the outside of my eye. So again, kind of going back to that theory and starting right there in the crease and just kind of going along the crease bone. Now, if you don't have a crease, you can absolutely create one wherever you'd like it to be. Try to leave yourself a little bit of eyelid for some highlighter and then a little bit of a brow bone. And then anywhere else in between that works for you, that you like. There's no right or wrong or rules to apply your crease bone if you don't have one, just to make sure that you sort of center it between your eyelid and your brow bone. And then I try not to take it too much farther than my eye, but I'll go a little bit back in the color and just flick it up so that it gives a little bit of a, again, eyeshadow should be more of an up at the end of your eye so that it's lifting everything up. And then we'll blend our lower brow or our lower lash line there in a second. So from there, I don't bring it much farther than the inside of my brow. Just like that. Okay. And then next what we'll do is we'll take another e.l.f. brush, which I really like this one a lot. This is just their eyeshadow brush. It's a domed top and it's pretty dense, and I don't get a ton of bristle fallout on this one either. And from here, what I'm going to do, because it's a shorter, more dense brush, is I'll go into this highlighting section of that palette, hold it back towards the end of the brush so I have a light hand, and then I'm just going to kind of go underneath my, just trim where I put my eyebrow pencil. Now you don't want to do this if you're using a real shimmery highlight, which I try to stay away from anyway at this age, unless it's a night out and there'll be a lot of photography. Other than that, I definitely try to stay from more of a natural highlight and just very minimal. This is, we've all heard less is more. That is a good rule of thumb when it comes to highlighter. And then I'll just go a little bit across the top just to sort of give some light there. And then I'll also take a little bit of the highlighter and just go right in the crease, the tear duct. A little bit of that V is there, just follow that V line. You'll notice I'm not being real precise with this. And I think that the older we are, the more natural it looks if there's just soft blurred lines on our face than hard crease cuts and things like that. Then I'll go and I'll mix this highlighter with a little bit of this blush. Again, because now my eyes will have somewhat of the same color payoff as my cheeks so that it all blends together. And I just mix those two together and put them on my eyelid. A little bit of a tapping motion, but then a good blend. And I'll just take that all the way up over the crease color that I did earlier, just to give it an all natural blending color. Same thing on the other eye. See, and you'll see that doesn't come across, even though it's blush, and you put a little highlighter on it, it just sort of lightens that color and gives it a nice bright highlighted look that again pulls in the highlight that you've used here, and we'll put some highlight underneath on our cheekbones as well. So there you go. That pretty much does the overall look in terms of the eyes. And then I'll usually take a nice fluffy brush. This is a Sigma tapered highlighter. And I'll just go and blend all that work that I just did. The key to eyes is to blend, 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 unless you're going again for a real extreme cut crease, which I think looks okay if it's a very high-end look for a big date night or something that you're really trying to make a statement. And then I'll go back to here, the highlight, and just highlight a little bit on my cheeks. Again, I don't come in towards my face very far. I stay on the outside for my highlighter. Just really a light hand. You'll notice by where I'm holding the brush towards the back. And see, you'll see the color payoff from this Maybelline contour, Master Contour, I think is a good color payoff. And then just blend anywhere else that you think you want to get a little blend going. All right, so we already did our eyelashes a minute ago. So now what we'll do is go in. Here I have the e.l.f. eyeline pen, and this is in a coffee color. If you have lighter hair and lighter skin tone, I typically don't go with a black eyeliner unless, again, it's a night out, special occasion, dark lighting, low lighting. But if it's a daytime summer look, or if I'm gonna be in a bright, living room or kitchen with a lot of people for some event, I'll definitely go with a brown, a dark brown, but a brown eyeliner. Mascara, the same thing. I feel like the lighter hair and lighter skin tone that you are, if you go too dark with your eyeliner and your mascara, it just has such a contrast that it feels a bit overdone and maybe more harsh than you would want. So I'm going again with coffee, and this is e.l.f. And this retails, this is pretty inexpensive. It's $7 for 0.33 ounces. So, I don't know how long it lasts, but I've used this a few times and it lasts throughout the day. But in terms of it drying out over the course of a month or a few months, that I couldn't tell you yet. And then here I just go right underneath right on top of my eyebrow or my eyeliner. I put my eyeliner on top of my eyelashes. Starting on the outside and just coming all the way in. And then at the end, you'll see it sort of points down because of where I was holding it. And that's okay. We're going to go back and put the finishing touches on that. So same on this. I just tend to look down, go out with my eyeliner, holding the brush, you can see a little bit at an angle, and right along my lash line. Okay. So you'll see the difference in the eyes. This eye, it sort of flips up a little bit at the end, and this one goes a little bit down, and that's okay, because then we're just gonna go to the corner of our eye and put a little bit, connect those dots, fill it in. And you guys, there's no right or wrong reason to do, or no right or wrong way to do this. One of the things I really like about the wing trend is it looks great on a certain skin, an eye shape. But as we age, our eyes tend to start to sag. So to me, a wing liner, in some areas, if you're gonna put on lashes, false lashes, and really be able to lift everything up, then I would do it. But if it's just my normal day-to-day look, I don't. And then again, I'm constantly taking my finger and just lifting so that I've got all the color deposit that I want and the eyeliner coming up at this angle. And then from there, we're gonna go back to our Master Contour palette from Maybelline, and I'm just going to get, this is a MORPHE M508 brush. I believe I got this at Ulta. It's very dense and very short. Now the reason I like this for underneath my eyes is because of the color of it, and excuse me, not the color, but because of the dense bristles, because the color payoff is pretty intense with this brush. And I will just go right underneath my eyelashes on the bottom. And the same thing on this eye. And I'll bring my eyebrow or my eyeshadow on the bottom just about to where my eye starts to curve back up. Because I like that line to be a little bit more of a straight line from here and go up versus coming all the way in where it gets that curve and then goes up, because then it just feels like it highlights the swooping down of the eyes if you highlight the whole, or if you put shadow on the whole thing. So I like to just sort of define the line going up that way. All right, so with that, we're getting closer. And now we're gonna use the Air Volume Mega Mascara. This is also by L'Oreal. This is in the color Brown Black. I really like this mascara. I've been using it and there's not a lot of fallout or the little spider lines that go underneath your eyes. It happens from time to time, especially in the summer as your mascara gets more warm and humid. In terms of mascara, I'll go right to the bottom of the lash, the root of the lash, and just wiggle, 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 because that way you're depositing color from the bristle of the brush on each of your lashes and giving it a little bit of a thicker line at the bottom. And then I'll pull it up. That also gives that color deposit on the back side of your lashes. I'm sure you've seen women where if they look down, the top of their lashes is much lighter and they didn't get the mascara on the high side of their lash. So I like to just do, again, that color to pay off and then pull it up so that you're not having any clumps. Same on this side, just wiggle. And then I usually get to when I get to the corner, I'll just take it and pull it out a few more times. And then I'll let that sort of set up. Kind of looking at everything again. And then what I'll do is I will go and put on my lip gloss. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Lip Shine. This is in the color 80. Or no, I'm sorry, 20, upside down. This is just a nice color. It matches, again, sort of the tones all go together. If you go back to this palette, I just like to make sure that all my tones are sort of matching. So if you look at those two pinks, it's just the same type of tone across what I put on my face, what I put on my eyes, and now what I'm gonna put on my lips. And then I'll just, you know, real simple. And I will typically do this and then I will go back and just push it in with my finger. I think I get longer staying power with lip gloss if I just give it a nice little push. And then as that's setting up, I'll go back to my mascara and do a second coat. On the second coat, I just go to the second half, the outer side of my mascara, and just go up and out, holding way back at the back and putting the color deposit on the close part of the root and pulling it out and up. So you can see it almost creates this, your eyelashes are going up and out like that. And then that is really it, you guys. I think that is just a simple summer drugstore. All of these products were bought either at the drugstore or on Amazon, which I love. I love the price point of it. I will highlight all of these products. I'll have them listed down in the description box below so that you can see them. If you're interested in any of them, you can just follow the link and purchase them right there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know this is the type of content that you'd like to see more of. If there's a certain area of the face that you'd like to do more detail for, aging skin or more mature skin, please leave me a comment. I do read those and I'd love your feedback. And then lastly, I hope you consider subscribing to my channel so that you'll be notified of a new video, which I'll put out every Monday and Thursday. So that is it. That is the finished look. I hope you like it. It's definitely a fresh summer look. A facelift at the drugstore. We saved a lot of money and a lot of recovery time. Thanks everyone. Until next time. See you again soon. Bye-bye.